The Generation of Miracles is from another sports anime and manga series called Kuroko's Basketball or Kuroko's no Basket. And when talking about characters from that anime, the best of the best are the Generation of Miracles, made up of some of the most talented and gifted basketball players in Japan, each specializing in a different area to make them as a team unstoppable. So today we're going to be discussing if these characters were transformed into football players and joined BLUELOCK, what would be the best positions for them, who would strive the most in this change of sport, and what NEL team would each of them join. Now I know it's not like me to tackle subjects like this, but if you do enjoy this kind of idea, then hey, be sure to like and subscribe. It's free and it helps with the growth of the channel so much so I can do more videos like this. I also have a Discord which you can join to interact with more BLUELOCK fans, suggest video ideas, and post your own content such as videos and art. The link will be in the description. Anyway, let's start off with the positions that the Generation of Miracles would best play in. BLUELOCK does exist in order to make the world's best striker, but characters like Nico, Gargamaru, and more have settled into a non-striker position, which gives this talking point more validation and variety compared to just placing each of these characters in a striking position. Let's start off with Murasakibara. Specializing in defense and power, it's safe to say that he would be in a more defensive position, and considering his lazier attitude, he would be better to play in a less active role, so I believe a goalkeeper fits him best. This also complements his monstrous height and therefore insane reach, being 6'10". That is insane. He would be the tallest player in BLUELOCK, being 6 inches taller than Ryu. That would be a very unstoppable goalkeeper, which is what you want to aim for if you don't wish to concede any goals. Next up is Kise. I believe Kise is the character that inspired the creation of Ryo, as they both have the copy ability, and characteristics wise they're both born into fortunate families and found life boring until finding their ideal sport. You can also see the comparison that Kise played football before basketball and Ryo was shown playing basketball before playing football. Coincidence? No, I don't think so. So, where would Kise fit best? Well, Kise doesn't have the motive to make anyone else the best, he wants to be the top dog. So I don't think a support position is right for him. He needs the inspiration to be able to copy, and what better way to see more of the field to get that inspiration than being on the offensive wing. This saves him time as he actively doesn't have to look as much, and will have a better time getting back to play defense, as he isn't just good at copying offensive abilities, that copy talent also applies to defensive abilities. He is also said to be the strongest of the Generation of Miracles when using perfect copy and being in the zone, which is Kuroko Basketball's variant of the flow. So does that mean he would be a centre forward? Well, he wouldn't be able to perform at that level constantly, and besides there is a better player for the centre forward position which we will get to. Midorima is an interesting case. He is one of the hardest players to outperform in raw talent and skill overall, because he is known from scoring 3-pointers from the halfway line of the court, or even sometimes from the complete other side of the court. So to know how those skills translate into football, it's best that we do some measurements. The most common length of a basketball court is close to 92 feet, and the length of a professional football pitch is between the law requirement sizes of 295 feet to 394 feet. For people that measure in meters, that is 28 meters length for the basketball court and 120 meters at max for the football pitch. So if we were translating basketball feats to football for all of the Generation of Miracles, that would mean that Midorima can score up to a range of 28 meters at most that we have seen. There is no confirmation whether or not he can score from even further away, but hey, this is the best number that we have. However, characters like Burū can outdo this feat by scoring 29 meters away. This is still extremely impressive, and we can also take into account his belief in luck. Luck is something we've actively been presented with in BLUELOCK. However, instead of it falling under chance and personality trait, as most situations involving it does within BLUELOCK, Midorima believes luck can be harnessed through supernatural forces such as zodiac signs and lucky items. Now, what is the verdict here taking all that information into account? Whilst yes, he knows how to handle himself individually on the court, his biggest feats have come from the assistance of his teammates. Therefore, he sorta is a striker who needs to make use of that score shooting range. We can put him as one of the wings, as his skills individually as a player can carry him to a score shooting area, so Kise and Midorima are the offensive wings. Next up is Aomine, who's the most unpredictable and creative dribbler out of this bunch. Judging by his style of basketball, he is gifted in his technique. He grew up playing street ball, and that can easily be translated over thanks to Yukumi's showcase of street ball dribbling. But I think Aomine would be a much more capable player, plus he doesn't have any vision problems. He's entered the zone at will, and was said to be undefeated until Kuroko's team, Seirin, beat his team in the Winter Cup. I believe as the best dribbler, and definitely as one of the most egotistical in the Generation of Miracles, the team will center around him, as he will be be a reliable center forward. Now we are onto one of the main characters and the name of the anime, Kuroko. He specializes in an ability called misdirection, which is basically what we refer to as finding players' blind spots. Well, kinda. Kuroko is naturally hard to notice, so he developed a playing technique using that invisibility. He simply behaves as if another player will get the ball and not him. Plus, he tries as much as possible to not show emotions to reduce his already weak presence. I think of it as a more effective Otoya, who uses his off-the-ball movements to sneak past players who aren't being observant. However, unlike Otoya, Kuroko does this better for two reasons. One, he specializes in passing instead of shooting, meaning his presence is even weaker as he doesn't stand out as some star of the show. And two, he actively is better at stealing or retrieving the ball because people hardly ever notice his presence. Sadly, this misdirection in fact is his only strength as a player, as his physical abilities are absurdly limited. It was basically as if he was never meant to become a basketball player, but through discovering this one talent, he was quickly known as the Phantom Sixth of the Generation of Miracles. So taking all of that into account, I believe he would be a great central midfielder as someone who can reliably exchange quick passes to his teammates, as he tends to do quick touches with the ball to pass off quickly to not bring himself any attention. The only issue is that he can't reliably hold onto the ball or dribble with it unless utilizing his vanishing drive ability. He needs to be a so-called heart of the team, or as he would say, the shadow of the team's ace striker. The last generation of Miracle member to discuss is Akashi. Now let me tell you about this guy because he in himself is a monster. The less impressive visual specs on this character may sway you to believe he's like Kuroko, but oh how wrong you are. This man's special ability is what's known as Emperor's Eye. We have a lot of vision-based characters in Blue Lock, so already this stands out as interesting. Emperor Eye is the term referring to the eyes with the observational ability to accurately predict the future. The user has the ability to predict the movements of the opponents before they are even made, utilizing details in which this eye can see, such as breathing, muscle movements, muscle contractions, body tension, rhythm, sweat, and etc. This, my friends, is who I believe to be the superior version of Karasu, as Akashi not only stands out as a character who can see the strengths, weaknesses, and potential of his opponents, but actually has confirmed access to a vision which I believe is more powerful than metavision, at least for one-on-one situations. Akashi uses Emperor's Eye to steal the ball from his opponents and use this crazy ankle break dribble, but he is at his best when passing to his teammates, and he makes his team so much stronger with him at the core. His physical attributes is what allows him to use this ability so easily. I'm not going to go through the bullshit of his alternate personality, but please check out this character for yourself to discover why he is the way he is. Overall, I believe Akashi would hold the central midfielder role, likely holding the captain position as he had the experience of being the captain for the Generation of Miracles and even in his high school basketball team as a first year. I feel like I would be letting people down if I don't talk about him. He may not be a Generation of Miracle member, but he is the other main character, so let's talk about Taiga. Taiga is one of the best players in the series who isn't a Generation of Miracle member. They say his skill is impressive enough to have been a Generation of Miracle member if he was living in Japan during middle school. He's much more of a team player compared to Aomine, but I would say he would make a strong center forward striker as their combined efforts are extremely strong when competing with one another. Alright, that's our basketball players' positions. In football, let's move on to the NEL teams that they would be on, shall we? Murasakibara would value a team where he doesn't have to work as hard, so a team which would be centered around a strong individual so he can play goalkeeper without much need to be active, I believe would fit him best. Which is why I believe Ubers is perfect for him, as Snuffy has already decided Uber's next king is going to be Burū, so Murasakibara can comfortably be in goalie and improve upon their already insane defense. Kise would need a team where he doesn't fall under the responsibility of captain, as his immature habits will get the better of him. It would also be beneficial for him to be on a team where he can utilize his copy abilities the best, so I believe he would be great on Manshine. Being able to collab with Reo and even copy Reo's copied abilities to a perfect state, plus the training of Chris Prince, can provide Kise the ability to use perfect copy with less drain to his stamina. Midorima, I would believe, would go to the Ubers. It's not a solid reason, however, because there isn't much intel to provide. No team really matches his personality, but I bet he would appreciate the structure and strategies of the Ubers, and with his long shot range, it would be very helpful to adapt it into a pass to assist Burū, making this extremely effective duo dynamic. Aomine, I believe, would best fit in Bacha for obvious reasons. His talent in dribbling would only grow with a team that can inspire him to learn about his own inspiration, and maybe he could be the difference maker in Bacha getting a win. Kuroko, I believe, would best fit in PXG. Strikers like Shido and Rin would make great use of his passes, mostly Rin as Shido already has Charles, and besides that, Kuroko would be a better shadow to pair up with BLUELOCK's top player. Akashi is someone where I could imagine him going anywhere and making a significant impact, but I did decide he should go on a team like Bastard, as he could either be the player to bring structure to the rivaling philosophies on the team, or become his own goal scorer and cause absolute havoc. Last of all, Taiga. With his drive to always showcase his talents and how good he is, I believe he would work really well on a team like Barcher or maybe PXG to follow Kuroko as they are best together. And with that, we have reached the end of this sports anime crossover. I had a lot of fun making this. Let me know in the comments below which character you'd think would do best in the NEL. Be sure to like and subscribe, and until next time, peace.